A pleasant day to all. We are Group 1 and this is our Ignatian Circle. First, let me introduce to our members. I am Amedy Bejerano, the leader of the group, Galmer Taban Jr., our group leader, and the rest of our members are Ronabelle Acenas, Alliah Carisma, Loraine Peralta, and Alliah Santocildes.
Today, we will be having a short conversation on how these specific values, namely creation and indifference, affect our lives and spirituality. We hope that through sharing our insights in this meeting, we could develop a better understanding of the said values and be further drawn to the teachings.
As we share our love for His creation, we get closer to Him and we give as well our respect as stewards of His own making. With that being said, we came up with a summary of our initial understanding for this value. Next slide, please. We often define creation as the process of bringing something into existence. With this value, we believe that everything that existed in the universe and life originated from God Himself. Creation symbolizes God's love for us, and He created humankind in His image. So what He has said, He has given us the gift of life with a purpose, will, and desire of sharing our lives with Him. In Ignatius' reflection in his final spiritual exercise, he contemplates that God is always with us and that His creations will be everlasting. In this contemplation, one should show gratitude for how God blessed us with gifts of mind, heart, and spirit. The Ignatian spirituality conveys that we people can have the ability to find God in all things and value the presence of God in nature.
Can you elaborate and expound concrete life experiences that you can relate to the value of creation?
Let's start with the gift of family. So all of us are a recipient of God's gift, and that gift can be our family, friends, talents, abilities, or it may be our feelings. So all these gifts are a reflection of God's love. God creates out of love, and He sustains these gifts by His labor and love. So we are all creations of God, and it is given to us freely, generously, and unconditionally. A concrete example of God's gift is our family. God gave us our family because He loves us, just as how our family loves us. And we should give back the love that God gave us. And our response to God's love is to love in return. We love and serve our family as a reflection of God's love to us. So this will show others how God loves us through His creations. We should thank God with sincerity and honesty because all these gifts, including our family, are given to us freely and generously by God.
I'm glad to be able to hear those meaningful words from you, Rona and Galmer. What areas in your life can you manifest creation?
Firstly, as a follower and as a child of God, my love for Him is manifested through attending worship services and contemplating for Him with sincerity, honesty, and conviction. Moreover, in my spiritual life, I also reflect more with the creation of God through finding God in all things. Just like how I see things and appreciate beautiful nature, the air I breathe, and the good life I am having right now, I want to thank God for the life He lent me, and I will continue to take care of myself, to serve God, and live a well-balanced life in my physical aspect. Lastly, as a student and in pursuing my career, I manifest creation by seeking a purpose in all of my hard works to glorify God's love. I know deep in my heart I can only get the true satisfaction in studying, in accomplishing something, and in having worldly achievements by giving thanks to God and acknowledging His guidance, for I know I would achieve nothing without His love and creation. Thus, in my mental aspect, God gave me hope for continuing the life I had walked and helped me as I commit myself to use all of my capabilities in the manifestation of God's unconditional love.
Let's now move on to the Ignatian value and principle, indifference. You know, Amedy, when I hear the word indifference, I picture a person treating another person in an interested way. And indifference is the capacity to let go of what doesn't help to love God or love others, while staying engaged with what does. Indifference helps a person avoid committing the mistake of choosing something prejudicially. It allows us to distance ourselves from things to make our point of view of matters at hand broader. Saint Ignatius of Loyola is telling us to love everything that God has created, yet still distance ourselves from those He created for our inner freedom. This inner freedom is the way to God's desire, an invitation. Moreover, according to Spiritual Exercises 23, indifference helps a person decide whether to keep or set aside people, things, or matters, depending on whether it helps us to praise, reverence, and serve God.
Wow, what a meaningful discussion you have there, Icon and Amedy. So thank you for that. So, can you provide some concrete life experiences that you can relate to the value of indifference?
Next slide, please. So, the majority of us as students seek academic validation. Medals, honor student titles, or grades were the material things that we believed would give us value as people so that others would value us. Failure is how we characterize ourselves when we are unable to fulfill our goals. When we desire to accomplish something, we usually pray to God. And when things don't go the way we would like them to, or we are unable to achieve our goals, we tend to be disappointed in God because we think He didn't hear our prayers. Moreover, this does not entitle us to the label of failure or disappointment. But let us not forget that not everything goes as planned and that God always has better plans for us. Hence, as we journey to God's kingdom, we should not focus on these earthly things, but rather share the blessings of creation and serve others as God's faithful stewards.
Thank you so much for those insights, Rona and Galmer. So, Alleah, how do you think we can apply this value in our life?
So we can manifest the value in difference by always remembering that even if what we originally planned does not happen, it does not mean that things will not fall into place. Because being indifferent is knowing and understanding that life is not perfect. There will be times in which we want certain things to happen and plan it out, but then obstacles will come hindering it. However, we should always be grateful for opportunities that comes our way. We may feel like a failure sometimes, but we must know also that God loves us nonetheless.
Truly, we have learned a lot on how to apply this value and to always remember that God still loves us despite all the imperfections we think we have. Once again, we are Group 1 and I am very pleased for staying with us and for taking a part in our Ignatian circle about creation and indifference. That will be all for today. See you in our next presentation.